Hi, welcome to Classic Car Cave. So I've not been in the garage properly. I've done any work in the garage for the last 3 weeks. I've had quite bad flu, which seems to be going around the world. I've had relatives in the UK that have had this problem as well. We did test for COVID just in case it wasn't. It's just a really bad flu. But I guess the fact we've all been isolated from each other for so long now, some of these things are starting to come out. But I'm feeling a lot better. So tomorrow, I'm going to be working back on the Citroen again, doing some welding, and Amir comes back tomorrow night, and he's hopefully going to bring my Ellen welder up with him that was repaired in Bosnia, unbelievably for €10. It was running single phase instead of three phase, and that's why there was no power in it. Anyway, he's going to bring that back and we can start getting on with the welding. I have got TIG gas, which I can weld with, and I also have a backup MIG welder, but it's just not as nice to use. It's not as constant as the old one that I've got, the old Allen. It's something I feel more comfortable with, but it's done its job. It's tacked up what we need to tack up, and as I said, tomorrow I'll do the floor because it's not a big deal. But with some of the finer work, welding work, I want to use the Allen again, but we'll see if Amir can get it back up. There's some problems now with going backwards and forwards across borders and things. So in this video, I'm just going to go over some of the stuff on the XK that we need to fix up and sort out. And again, tomorrow night, hopefully he will bring a regulator, which is what we need. We don't actually need a regulator to work as a regulator, as it would have done with a dynamo, but we need it as a kind of junction box to go in the car. So he's bringing one with him from Amir, the guy that did the electrical work on the car. So as I said, I feel a lot better now, so hopefully that's the end of it and I can get back in and crack on with work. But I hope you enjoy the video. Take care. Hopefully you can see there where the crank pulley is there. You can see the way the belt is actually, the V is not going right into the depth of that pulley. It's obviously the wrong size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. This is a 13 and what I really need, I think, is about an 11. And I'll go down to my local parts place and see if there's a possibility that they can match this up and give me the correct one. This is why there's some burning coming off here, because obviously this V part of the rubber is not sat right into the V of the pulley itself, as you can see. So I'm going to take it off and I'll show you what I mean on the top. This is the original belt, and you can see there that it's not going into that V properly. It shows even more so on the dynamo or the alternator side. This looks like a dynamo, but it's actually a dynator. So it's a dynamo body with an alternator inside it. And you can see particularly there, I can get the light on it properly. So I'll bring this across a bit. There you go. You can see particularly there, it does not fit right. So I have another one here, which is a 10, but it's from a Mini. So obviously, I think it's a Mini, but it's obviously a lot smaller. But you can see how well that fits into the V's. There, you can see it's a really good fit. I think actually need 11 is what I need. But again, you can see it's right in line with maybe a 10, I don't know. That looks pretty good. But you can see the difference in that there. If I take my hand out of the way for see how it's right on the pulley, and the V's going right down. What's happening with this one is it's too tight and it's rubbing on the side. In fact, you can see where it's been rubbing there, and that's brand new. So that was the wrong size that I ordered, or they sent me, whatever. So we'll get that changed and pop that on. But that doesn't mean I can't start the car. There's no heater in the car at the moment. It's here. And we took this out because we had to do some wiring things. We had to get some wiring looms through. This is a Smith's heater which goes underneath the dash, which is for a very early model. This car is the 191st Roadster they made, according to the numbers. And I think after that they put the heater box here on the right hand side, and the fan was on the side here, and it blew through 2 door traps into the car, whereas with mine it's actually inside the car, so there isn't any doors. Anyway, so I'll take this off and get a new one. It's a AVX 13. That must be the belt width, I would imagine, 13 mil, and that 1050 I would imagine is millimeters. If you look at the bottom one, it's AVX 10 838, which I would imagine is 83.8 millimeters, and this is 1050 mil. And obviously you can see the difference in the size is quite a lot. But what you can really see there is that's nearly 1.5 times the thickness of that bottom belt, and that's why it's not going into the V. I don't know if I can do it the other way around to show you. Maybe I can. You can see there the difference in the. Hang on, I'm going to put the two together. Let's put it down and try it. I should have preset this up, but there you go. You can see the difference there in the side, just how much difference there is between one belt and the other. And this is obviously all of it sitting on the side, so it's just side loading rather than the whole V being covered in the belt. So I'll get that changed and we'll see how we go. So give this another start up. Hasn't been started up for 3 weeks, and we'll see how we go. There's the oil gauge. Now that oil gauge only went up to 80 this time, but I still think that overpressure or that bypass is a problem. It should not be as high as that even at startup. 60, yes maybe, but not 80. So what I'll do now is I'll see about actually taking that off. But it's definitely better than it was. There's definitely 100 is far too much. But I have to say, it's unbelievable. It starts almost first time. Great. As usual, I always go back to the Bible, which is XK150 Explored, I should say. Unfortunately, they're very hard to get hold of. A lot of people are telling me because they're out of print, they're so difficult. Bernard Weyer, I mean, they're a very expensive book. I think they're in the region of about £300. I think I can't remember 250 when I bought it, but it's been excuse me, it's been invaluable. Oh dear. It's obviously calamite. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take this filter off, this long filter which has an internal filter inside it, and I'm going to use a spin-on filter, and I have the adapter for it. Basically you take all this out, all the spring, the swash plate at the bottom, and you put an adapter in here, and then you put a spin-on filter, which I will be doing. And the nice thing about it is it's reversible. You can just screw it back out and put this one back on if you need to. But what I'm interested in at the moment is this oil pressure is showing too high. Now, as I said, it could be the gauge, but I have a feeling, I've had this problem before on my E-Type, which is under its cover here, and it's saying quite clearly here that unlike the XK140's one, that the relief valve is no longer adjustable. So obviously it was adjustable. You could adjust that spring rate, and obviously you can't do that now. But what happens is, when the cars are put together, generally what happens is, or can happen, is when gasket sealers put on there, some of it can get caught onto the spring, and then what it does is it doesn't allow the spring to work properly. It doesn't allow the regulator to regulate the oil properly. And I found this problem on my E-Type. I had the same situation where I had, in fact, the oil pressure didn't go up, or it didn't go up enough, and it was actually gasket sealant that had gone in here and balled up and stopped the pressure from working correctly. So what I'll do is I'll take this dome nut out, and when we actually adapt the whole thing, and I'll show you that when we adapt it, but it says here it's not adjustable. So once it's in position, it's just the spring rate. So if that spring isn't correct, and again here, it's showing actually the spring length as well, and off with no tension on it, 2 1/16 inch, and that's what, 1 3/4 inch. So I'll have a look at that, make sure that is the situation, and I'll show you what it looks like on the car. There's the oil filter base, and there's the old oil filter on the original one, and that's where the adapter will go in, screw in its aluminium adapter, and then you put a spin-on filter on it, because these are quite long, these things, and obviously a disposable spin-on filter is better than this internal type one. But you can see there where that nubbing is coming down, pointing directly down. That's where that pressure valve is, or the spring in it. So what I'll need to do is I need to take that out and clean it. Just make sure there's no debris in the gallery anywhere. The one across to the left of that, where the metal line is, the one that's we're looking at directly, that's just a bleed or to a drain plug to actually drain it. So I'll take that out and, as I say, change over, and I'll show you the adapter kit that you can buy for it. So on that note, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.